whoever keeps doing that is annoying.
Wait, Lizzie?
Yeah, your piece is not working.
Okay, so you can get another one then.
Okay.
All right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
We welcome you to our night honoring the American classics, more specifically classics of the 20th century. I'm David.
My name is Chanel. The 20th century was a landmark century for the American theater, particularly the American musical. By century's end, the American musical will become one of America's greatest exports all over the world.
While there are so many memorable and well-known pieces, we've selected a few of our favorites for your viewing pleasure tonight. Our evening begins with the greasers, that's right, leather jackets, turned-up jeans, white t-shirts, and slicked back hair. We wouldn't be surprised if you were an audience member who were dressing like this. Right, Mr. C?
Celebrating that 1950s culture, the musical Grease jumped, rocked, and rolled its way in Broadway history in 1972. Its 3,383 performance run would make it the longest-running Broadway show at the time it closed in 1980. Tonight, we open with a fun showstopper, Grease Lightning, performed by the gentlemen of the cast.
Why, this car is automatic, it's systematic, it's hydromatic. Why, it's Grease Lightning! Grease Lightning! Look at this. And four was around. I'm feeling the action call out for more than it was around. Get that money, I see you get that money. Boys feet on the floor, show me waiting out the door. You know without a doubt, all we really making out Grease Lightning, go, 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 go. Grease Lightning, you're burning up the motor. Grease Lightning, go, Grease Lightning, go. Grease Lightning, you're cruising through the heat lava truck. Grease Lightning, go, Grease Lightning, scream, she's a scream. Grease Lightning, go, go, go. Forget the purple friend's tail, like a pretty straight friend. From Palomino dashboard and doom off the train, so yeah. You pick the pleasant shots, she can beat the superstars. You know that I am proud, she's a real dragon by Grease Lightning, go, go, go. Grease Lightning, you're burning up the motor. Grease Lightning, go, Grease Lightning, go. Grease Lightning, you're coasting to the heat lava truck. Grease Lightning, go, Grease Lightning. You are supreme, let's use the scream. For Grease Lightning, go, 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 go. This is a year on a musical where the Colorado connection would explode on Broadway. We're talking about Guys and Dolls. The story focuses on the short stories of David Runyon of Pueblo, Colorado, just a short trip down the road. Our story tonight focuses on the seedy gangsters and gamblers of New York City. I'm tired. The musical would capture the popular imagination and would go on to be performed 1,200 times and win a total of 5 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. But its success wouldn't stop there. It would be performed all over the country, from schools to community theater and the world, becoming one of the most produced and beloved productions of all time. Here to perform Take Back Your Mink are the ladies of the cast.
He bought me the birthday 5 winters ago, and the gown the following fall. Then the necklace, the bag, the hat, and the shoes. That was late 48. I recall. Then last night in his apartment, he tried to remove them all. And I said, as I ran down the hall, take back your mink, take back your pearls. What made you think that I was one of those girls? Take back the gown, the shoes and the hat. I may be down, but I'm not flat as all that. I thought that each expensive gift you'd arrange was a token of your esteem. Now when I think of what you want in exchange, it all seems a horrible dream. So take back your mink to from whence it came, and tell them to haul and rise it for some other dame. Take back your mink, take back your pearls. What made you think that I was one of those girls? I'm screaming, take back the gown, take back the hat. I may be down, but I'm not flat as all that. I thought that each expensive gift you'd arrange was a token of your esteem. But when I think of what you want in exchange, it all seems a horrible dream. Take back your mink, those old worn-out belts, and go short the sleeves for somebody else.
Now, we put down our instruments and set our wide stage aside to put it in its place. A large, comfortable backyard in the growing suburban community right after World War II.
Our main character, Joe Keller, played by Hunter Rosiska, is a working-class owner and manager of a plant that built parts for airplanes during the war. He had 2 sons that fought in that war. The older, Larry, went missing and never returned home.
Speaking of pilots, do you know the band 21 Pilots?
What does that have to do with anything?
Don't appreciate the sass. But, fun fact, they actually got their name from the scene.
Oh, that was interesting.
Thank you. Anyways, the younger brother Chris, played by myself, did return, but changed by the reality of war. Anne Deaver, played by Fred Holland, was Larry's girlfriend, but she has now fallen in love with Chris, though the mother, Kate, played by Erin Doucette, sorry.
Still can't get that right.
No, 1 month of practice. Here we are. Refuses to believe that Larry is dead and refuses to bless the engagement.
Finally, George Deaver, played by Malachi Martin, brother to Anne, has come to visit the Kellers with some news that his and Anne's father, in prison for shipping faulty parts that caused airplanes to crash, was framed by his former partner, Joe Keller, leading up to a stunning revelation. Our scene takes up late in Act 2, just as Kate is dismissing Anne.
She's not leaving, Mother.
You heard her say he's never been sick.
He misunderstood me, Chris.
He simply told your father to kill pilots and then cover himself in bed.
You better answer it, Annie. Answer it.
I packed your bags already.
What?
I packed your bags. All you have to do is close it.
I'm not closing anything. I'm not leaving until he tells me to leave. Until Chris tells me.
That's all. Now get out of here, George.
That's how it feels.
Well, that's all until Christ comes. About the case or about Larry. Now get out of here, George.
You tell me. I want to hear you say it.
Go, George. Just go. No. Please don't take it that way, George. Please don't take it that way.
What do you mean you packed her bags? How dare you pack her bags?
Chris,
How dare you pack her bags?
she doesn't belong
And
here.
I don't belong here.
She's Larry's girl.
And I'm his brother and he's dead.
Never.
And I'm gonna marry his girl.
Never in this world.
You lost your mind.
Nothing to say.
I got plenty to say. 3 next week talking to a maniac.
Nothing to say. Now I say. He's coming back and everyone has got to leave.
Mother! Mother!
Wait! Wait!
How long?
For-
How long?
Forever and ever till he comes.
I'm going through with it.
Chris, I've never said no to you in my life. Now I'm saying no.
I'll never let him go until I do it.
I'll never let him go. You'll never let him
I
go.
let him go. I let him go a long time
Then
ago.
let your father go.
That was nice.
Altogether, your brother's alive, darling. Because if he's not, your father killed him. You understand? As long as you live, your brother's alive. God has not let his son be killed by his father. I see, don't you? I see.
That was my Chris.
You did it.
You never flew before you.
But the other.
That was fucking mine.
Dad. You did it?
You never flew. What's the
Now
matter
you
with
did it to the others.
How's the matter with you?
How could you do that? How?
What's the matter with you?
Dad, you killed 21 men.
What? Kill?
You killed them. You murdered them.
I didn't kill anybody.
Then explain it to me. Tell me what you did. You had 120 cracked engine heads. Now what did you do?
How could I kill anybody?
Durham. Tell me what you did. I want to know what you did. What did you do? Tell me or I'll tear you to pieces.
Don't, Chris. Don't.
You better tell me now.
If you hate me, then
I'm listening. God Almighty, I'm listening.
You're a boy. What can I do? I'm in business. A man is in business. 120 cracks. You don't know how to operate. Your stuff's no good. They close your term contracts. The hell's it to them? You laid 4 years to a business and knock you out in 5 minutes. Take what? What was I supposed to do, Chris? Take 4 years to take my life away? You're 6 years old. You won't get another chance, do you?
Then why did you ship them out?
I thought they would spot them. I thought I had to cross this joint again. I thought they would think they had to have me. But I got no kickback. So I was going to tell them.
So why didn't you tell them?
It was too late. It was already on the front pages. 21 went down. It was too late. Chris, they came in my hand. Came in my shop with handcuffs. Because I did it for you. I'm 61 years old. I don't get another chance.
You even knew they were going to hold up in the air.
I don't mean that.
Well, you were going to warn them not to use them.
I don't mean that.
Well, it means you knew they'd
I
crash.
don't mean that.
Then you thought they'd crash.
I was afraid. Maybe.
You were afraid maybe God in heaven. What kind of man are you? There were kids taken in the air by those bells. You knew that.
Business. A business for you.
For me? Where do you live? Where do you come from? I was off dying every day, and you were killing my boys, and you did it for me? What the hell do you think I was thinking of? The goddamn business? What is that, the world, the business? Is that as far as you can see the business? What the hell do you mean you did it for me? What the hell are you? You're not even a man. You're not even an animal. No animal kills his own. What must I do? You I have a chair and talk right out of your mouth. What must I do?
First, there was Juliet and her Romeo. Leonard Bernstein and Stephen Sondheim would introduce the world to two other star-crossed lovers, Maria and Tony from West Side Story. Inspired by the classic Shakespearean tragedy, West Side Story takes place in New York City between two rival gangs, the Jets and the Sharks. This would represent a new turn in the American musical, darker themes and extended dance scenes. West Side Story would go on to win Best Musical in 1957. The gentlemen of the cast will present the toe-tapping G-Officer Krupke from this classic and popular musical that has become a staple in high schools all across America.
Folks believe everything they read in the papers.
Yeah, they do. That's why they believe everything they read about us cruddy JDs.
Yeah.
So we gotta give them something to believe in.
Exactly.
Hey, you.
Who? Me, Officer Krupke?
Yes, you.
Dear kindly Sergeant Krupke, you gotta understand, it's just our bringing upkeep that gets us out of hand. Our mothers are the junkies, our fathers are the drunks. Glory Moses, naturally we're punks. Gee, Officer Krupke, we're very upset. We never had the love that every child ought to get. We ain't no delinquents, we're misunderstood. Deep down inside us there is good, there is good, there is good, there is untapped good. Like inside the worst of us is good.
That's a touching good story.
Let me tell it to the world.
Just tell it to the judge.
Dear kindly Judge, Your Honor, my parents treat me rough with all the marijuana. They won't give me a puff. They didn't want to have me, but somehow I was had. Leaving lizards, that's why I'm so bad.
Right, Officer Bucky, you're really a square. This boy don't need a judge, he needs an analyst care. It's just a neurosis that you ought to be burned. He's psychologically
I'm disturbed, we're disturbed, we're disturbed, we're the most disturbed, like we're psychologically disturbed.
Eerie, in the opinion of this court, this child is depraved on account he had a normal home.
Hey, I'm depraved on account of deprived.
So take him to a head shrinker.
My head. My father is a bastard, my mom's an SOB, my grandpa's always plastered, my grandma pushes tea, my sister wears a mustache, my brother wears a dress. Goodness gracious, that's why I'm a mess.
Right, Officer Krupke, you're really a slob. This boy don't need a doctor just to get on his job. Society's played him a terrible trick, and sociologically he's sick.
I'm sick! We are sick, we are sick, we are sick, 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 like we're sociologically sick.
In my opinion, this child does not need to have his head shrunk at all. Juvenile delinquency is purely a social disease.
Hey, I got a social disease.
So take him to a social worker.
Social worker? Dear kindly social worker, they say go earn a buck, like be a soda jerker, which means like be a smuck. It's not a anti-social, it's just some anti-work. Glorioski, that's why I'm a jerk.
Oh, Officer Krupke, you've done it again. This boy don't need a job, he needs to use a pen. This ain't just a question, I'm misunderstood. Deep down inside him, he's no good. I'm no good.
We're no good, we're no good, we're no earthly good. Like the best of us, just no damn good.
The trouble is he's lazy.
The trouble is he stinks.
The trouble is he's crazy.
The trouble is he drinks.
The trouble is he's growing. The trouble is he's growing.
Krupke, we've got troubles of our own. The Officer Krupke went down on our knees, 'cause no one wants a fellow with a social disease.
we should sit down for this one.
Yeah.
Little tired?
Here. Yeah. Are you waiting for me?
Yes, I'm
I
waiting.
thought this was your show.
Well, it is my show, but I thought, you might want a part in it.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So
being
you can
gracious.
You can share the spotlight for once? Okay.
For once.
I'll start.
Just this time.
Oh, how nice. There are three considered triumvirates of American theater. Eugene O'Neill's Long Day's Journey into Night, Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, and Tennessee Williams' A Streetcar Named Desire.
Imagine smoky jazz playing over the hazy, humid air of New Orleans in the late 1940s.
Snazzy.
Very
The play would introduce two of the most famous stage characters of all time. Stanley Kowalski, played by Fabian Bennett, a man's man, proud of his masculinity.
And Blanche Dubois, played by Naomi Mullins, the aging beauty who cannot gracefully accept her singleness and oncoming age.
Sounds like me.
I bet it does.
Caught in the middle is Stella Kowalski, played by Michaela Pease, Blanche's sister and Stanley's wife, who loves them both, but must choose between them.
In this scene, they are celebrating Blanche's birthday, but Blanche has been stood up by her hope for a boyfriend, Mitch.
Sounds like you, huh?
Someone's vicious tonight. When Stanley spread some rather salacious gossip about Blanche's past.
Stanley, tell us a funny little story, something to make us all laugh. I mean, I don't know why we're all so solemn. Is it because I've been stood up on my bow? It's my first time in my entire experience with men, and I've had a good deal of all sorts that have ever been stood up by anybody, and well, I'm not sure how to take it. Stanley, tell us a funny little story, something to help us all laugh.
I thought you didn't like my stories, Blanche.
I like them when they're amusing, but not indecent.
I don't know any refined enough videotape.
Then let me tell you.
Yes, you tell old Blanche. She used to know lots of good stories.
Let me see now. I'm going to run through my repertoire. Oh, yes, I love parrot stories. Do y'all like parrot stories? Well, this one's about the old maid and her parrot. Now, this old maid, she had a parrot that was like a blue streak and knew more verbal expressions than Mr. Kowalski. And the only way to hush the parrot up was to put a cover on its cage so it would think it was not and go back to sleep. Now, this one morning, the old maid had just uncovered the parrot for the day when who should she see coming up the front walk but the preacher. So she rushed back to the cage and slipped the cover back on it and she let in the preacher. Now, the parrot was still just as quiet as a mouse. But just as she was asking the preacher how much sugar he wanted in his coffee, the parrot broke the silence with a louder ah! And a goddamn, but that was a short day. Apparently, Mr. Kowalski was not amused.
Mr. Kowalski is too busy making a pig of himself. Anything else?
Got that right, babe.
Your fingers and face are disgustingly greasy. Go wash up and then help me clear the table.
There! That's how I'll clear the table. Don't you ever talk that way to me. Pig, Pollock, disgusting, vulgar, greasy. Those are words that have been on you and your sister's tongue too much around here. What are the two you think you are? A pair of queens? Well, don't you remember what Huey Long said? Every man is a king, and around here, I'm the king! And don't forget it. There. My place is clear. And you clear yours too.
Stella, what did he tell you while I was baby? What did he say to you?
Nothing, nothing, nothing.
I think he told you something about Mitch and me. You know why Mitch didn't come, but you won't tell me. I'm going to call him.
I wouldn't call him Blanche.
I am. I'm going to call him on the phone.
I wish you would.
I intended to give you some explanation from somebody.
I hope you're pleased with your doings. I've never had so much trouble swallowing food in my life. Looking at that poor girl's face and the empty chair.
Hello? Mr. Mitchell, please. Oh. Well, I would like to leave a number if I may. Magnolia 9047. And say it's important to call. Yes, very important. Thank you.
Look, Stell, everything's gonna be fine once she goes. Everything will go back to the way it was. Do you remember the way things used to be? You and me, the nights we had together. You remember the nights?
Come on back inside.
Oh, Blanche. Yes? Oh, those pretty little candles. I'm not wearing them, Stella. I certainly will. Oh, you ought to save them for the baby's birthday. So, I hope candles glow in his lap. And I hope his eyes burn like two candles, like two blue candles in a white cake.
What poetry?
I shouldn't have called it. Lots of things could have happened.
There's no excuse for it, Stella. I won't put up with insults. I won't be taken for granted.
God damn, it's hot in here from the steam in the bath.
I've said I was sorry 3 times. I take hot baths for my nerves. Hydrotherapy, they call it. You healthy Pola without a nerve in your body. Of course you don't know anything.
I'm not a Polo. People from Poland are Poles. So don't call me a Polo. But what I am is 100% American. Born and raised in the greatest country in the world and proud as hell of it. So don't ever call me a Polo.
To me, I'm sure.
I'm not so sure. Keep your seats.
Keep your hands off me, Stella. What's the matter with you? Why do you look at me with that pity and love?
Quiet in there! We got noisy women on the place. What was that, Mac? No, I don't want to go bowling at Riley's. I got in some trouble with Riley the other day. Well, I'm the team captain, ain't I? So no, we're not bowling at Riley's. We can go to the west side of the Gala, okay, Mac? I'll talk to you soon. Oh, sister. I got a little birthday.
Oh, have you, Stanley? I wasn't expecting anything. I don't know why Stella wants to observe my birthday. I mean, when you reach 27, age is a subject you much prefer to ignore.
27.
What is it? Is it for me?
Yeah, I hope you like it.
Why? Why it's
Tickets! Back to Laurel on a Greyhound Tuesday!
That was great acting.
Wasn't it?
Yes, Chicago.
Which is also the setting of our next musical, Chicago.
Set in Prohibition Chicago.
Figure that one out yourself, did you?
Cut me some slack. I didn't write the script. It takes place, it's based on true events reported in 1926. That was based on a play that was based on reports by Ray Dawes Watkins. And yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know. The musical satire would capture the popular imagination as the central protagonist was a celebrity criminal.
Some things never change, huh?
Maybe you should get into place.
Sorry, Dave.
So unprofessional. Perhaps the most famous song is Cell Block Tango, in which our main protagonist, Velma, meets Roxy and a band of other murderesses in the Cook County Jail.
Ha! 6. Swish.
And now, the 6 merry murderesses of the Cook County Jail and their edition of the Cell Block Tango.
6.
you you would have done the same.
You know how people have these little habits that get you down? Like Bernie. Bernie liked to chew gum. Oh no, not chew. Ha! So I came home this one day, and I'm really irritated, and I'm looking for a little bit of sympathy. And there's Bernie, lying on the couch, drinking a beer and chewing. Oh no, not chewing. Pop it! So I said to him, I said, if you pop that gum one more time. And he did. So I took the shotgun off the wall and I fired 2 warning shots into his head. He had it coming. He had it coming. He only had himself to blame. If you'd have been there, if you'd have heard it, I bet you you would have done the same.
I met Ezekiel Young from Salt Lake City about 2 years ago, and he told me he was single, and we hit it off right away. So we started living together. He'd go to work, he'd come home, I'd fix him a drink, we'd have dinner, and then I found out. Single, he told me. Single, yeah, right. Not only was he married, oh no, he had 6 wives. One of those Mormons, you know? So that night when he came home from work, I fixed him his drink, as usual. You know, some guys just can't hold their arsenic. He had it coming. He had it coming. He took a flower in its prime, and then he used it, and he abused it. It was a murder, but not a crime.
Now I'm standing in the kitchen, carving up the chicken for dinner, minding my own business, and in the storm is my husband Wilbur in a jealous rage. You've been seeing the milkman, he said. He was crazy, and he kept on screaming, "You've been seeing the milkman!" And then he ran into my knife. He ran into my knife 10 times.
If you'd have been there, if you'd have seen it, I bet you you would have done the same.
Mitt keräsidät olisi min jääkisjärjestökum oten filmen. En negligent mafiet. Tänään makos. En artatlaan vejok. Nemtro mirt man johkusem kindatama. Provoltam. Aröver segen meg prognosi. Tinante törret meg.
Yeah, but did you do it?
Not guilty.
My sister Veronica had some left, and my husband Charlie tried to run this. Now, those last member acts,
We did these 20 acrobatic tricks in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 splits. Ready goes back to those flip-flops. One right after the other. So it's right back before the show. We're down at the Hotel Cicero. The 3 of us boozing, having a few laughs. When we ran out of ice, so I go out to get some. I come back, open the door, and there's Veronica and Charlie doing number 17, the spread eagle. Well, I was in such a state of shock, I completely blacked out. I can't remember a thing. It wasn't until later, when I was washing the blood off my hands, that I even knew they were dead. He had it coming. He had it coming. He had it coming all along. He didn't do it, but if I done it, would you tell me that I was wrong? He had it coming. He had it coming. He had it coming all along. I didn't do it, but if I done it, would you tell me?
So did you.
Wow. Delusional. We're going to take a jump back to a simpler time in America. The beginning of the... Sorry. Speechless from that performance. We're going to take a jump back to the beginning of the 20th century. The play Our Town takes place in a fictional town of Grover's Corners in between the years 1901 and 1913.
The play was written by Thornton Wilder and won the Pulitzer Prize in 1938. First produced in 1938, it looks back at the subtle movements and workings of small-town life. It was a nostalgic look back at the dramatically altered landscape after World War I, then called the Great War, or the War to End All Wars, which would propelled America into vast industrialization that war required.
Even today, this little play takes us back to a time long lost to most of us.
We're going to do the final act of the play, which takes place in the local graveyard. I will play the stage manager as written into the scene. Taking their places now are the resident ghosts who occupy the graves.
In a short while, you will see a funeral procession gather to lay the newest member of the cemetery to rest.
This time, 9 years have gone by, friends. Summer 1913. Gradual changes in Grover's Corners. Horses are getting rare, farmers are coming into town in Fords, and now everybody's locking their doors at night. Ain't been any burglars in town yet, but everybody's heard about them. You'd be surprised, though. On the whole, things don't change much around here. This certainly is an important part of Grover's Corner. It's on a hilltop, a windy hilltop. Lots of sky, lots of clouds, and often lots of sun and moon and stars. This here is the new part of the cemetery. Here's our friend, Mrs. Gibbs. Let me see, Mr. Simpson, organist at the Congregational Church. And oh, Mrs. Soames, who enjoyed the wedding so. You remember? Oh, and a lot of others. Yes, a whole lot of sorrow has sort of been quieted down up here. People just wild with grief have brought their relatives up to this hill. We all know how it is. And then time, sunny days, and rainy days, and snow. We're glad they're in a beautiful place, and we're coming up here ourselves after our fit's over. You know as well as I do that the dead don't stay interested in us living people for very long. Gradually, they lose their hold on the earth, in the ambitions they had, pleasures they had, the things they suffered, and the people they loved. They get weaned away from the earth. That's the way I put it. Weaned away. Well, there are some living people. There's Joe Stoddard, our undertaker, supervising a new made grave. And here comes a Grover's Corners boy that left town to go out west.
Joe Stoddard. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let me see now. Do I know you?
I'm Sam Craig.
Gracious sakes! Alive! Of all people. I should have known you'd be back for the funeral, though. You've been away for a long time, Sam.
Yes, I've been away for about 12 years now. I'm in business out in Buffalo now, Joe. But I was in the East when I heard my cousin's death. So I thought I'd combine this a little and come see what I was home. You look well.
Yes, I can't complain. Very sad our journey today, Samuel. Yes. I always say I hate to supervise when a young person has been taken. They'll be here any minute now. I had to come here early today. My son's supervising at home.
And why, this is all part of a party. I do chores from after school. Yeah, I'm a bother.
Yes, we brought Mama McCarty here a couple of years ago now.
And why, this is my Aunt Julia. I forgot that she...
Yes, Doc Gibbs lost his wife 2-3 years ago, about this time. And today, there's another pretty bad blow for him too.
That's my sister Carrie's boy, Sam Craig.
I'm always uncomfortable when they're around.
Simon.
Do they pick on verses much, Joe?
No, not usually. Usually the bereaved pick the verse.
That doesn't sound like my Aunt Julia. There aren't much those prissy sisters like that. Let me see. I want to
over there, Avenue F.
He was an organist at church, wasn't he? Drank a lot, we used to say.
Yes, not a lot of people were supposed to know about it, but he's seen a peck of trouble. Took his own life, you know.
Really?
Yeah. He hung himself in the attic. You can see it there, in a verse exactly.
Why, it's just a bunch of notes of music. What is it?
Oh, I wouldn't know. It was written up in Boston papers at the time.
Joe, what did she die of?
Who?
My cousin.
Oh, didn't you know? Had some trouble bringing a baby into the world. It was her second, though. There's a boy, about 4 years old.
So, Ray's gonna be here?
Yes, there ain't much more room over here by the Gibbses, so they're opening up a whole new Gibbs section over by Avenue B. You'll excuse me now. I see they're coming.
Who is it, Julia? My daughter-in-law, Emily Webb. Lot there, they must have been awful muddy. What'd she die of? In childbirth. Childbirth? Well, I forgot about all that. That was my awful, wonderful.
Wonderful, was it?
Simon, now remember. I remember Emily's wedding. Wasn't it a lovely wedding? I remember reading her class before my graduation next time. Funeral of brides, girls, like the red ribbon. Heard things from what you say from time after time. I called them then on a very new farm, just before I died. Perfectly beautiful farm.
Yep, right, smart farm.
I always liked that kid. I was hoping you'd see him.
Hello. Hello, Emily.
Hello, Miss Gibbs.
Hello, Lennigan. Emily. Hello. It's raining. Yes, dear. They'll be gone soon. Just rest yourself. It seems thousands of years since I remember that was my favorite hymn. I wish I'd been in the law. How like you. How do you do, Mr. Stimpson?
How do you do, Emily?
Mother Gibbs, George and I have made that farm just the best place you ever saw. Thought of all the time. On the barn, on the ship with lines, great monsoon and big mountain in the bed. It's not. Thought that I had the money allowance. I did. Gibbs didn't remember the legacy you left us. It was over $350. Yes, and there's a pack device on the drinking fountain, so it never overflows. And it never drops before a certain mark they have there. It's fine. Won't be the same to George without me. But it's a lovely farm. Black people don't understand, do they? No, dear, they don't understand. The sort shut up in little boxes, aren't they? I feel as though I knew them less than 1,000 years ago. Oh, Mrs. Cotter, my little boy spent the day at your house. Is he? Oh, yes, he loves it. Mother Gibbs, we have a Ford too. Never gives any trouble. I don't have to drive it though. Mother Gibbs, Emily, let's see her go away. Okay, one of them. Yes, dear. Just rest yourself. I know. They're done. They're leaving. I loved him so. Little cooler than it was. Yes,
Yes,
that rains
cooled it off.
those northeast winds always do the same things. If it isn't a rain, it's a 3-day long. But Mother Gibbs, one can go back. One can go back into the living. I feel it. I know it. Why then, just for a moment, I was thinking about the farm. The 4 minute, I was there. My baby was in my lap as plain as day. Yes, dear. Of course I can. I can go back and live all those days over again. Why not? All I can say is, Emily, don't. But it's true. I can go back.
Yes, some have tried, but they soon come back here.
Yes. Don't do it, Emily. that be painful?
Not only live it, but you watch yourself living it.
Yes.
And as you watch it, you see the things that they, down there, never know. You see the future. You know what's going to happen afterwards.
But is that painful? Why? That's not the only reason why you shouldn't do it every week. You'll see that our life done here, so forget all that. Be prepared for what's ahead. You lay down your love and feelings. This thing, I will know for myself. Should I not choose a sad day? No, dear. You should choose an important day. Choose the least important day of your life. It'll be important. It can't be since I was married. Since the baby was born? I can choose a birthday at least, can't I? I choose my 12th birthday.
All right, February 11th, 1899, a Tuesday. Do you want any special time of day?
Oh, I want the whole day.
We'll begin at dawn. You remember it had been snowing for several days, but it stopped just the night before. They had just begun clearing the roads. The sun's coming.
Why, there's Main Street. And there's Mr. Morgan's drugstore before he changed it. And there's the livery stable.
Yes, this is 1899. It's 14 years ago.
Oh, this is the town I knew as a little girl. This old white fence that used to be around my house. I've forgotten that. I loved it so. Are they inside?
Yes, your mother will be coming downstairs in a minute to make breakfast.
Will she?
And you remember your father had been away for several days, but had come back on the early morning train.
No.
He'd been back to his college to make a speech in Western New York at Clinton.
Children, Wally, Emily, it's time to get up. Oh, Mama, I'm here. What young Mama looks. I didn't know Mama was ever that young. You can come and dress by the fire if you like, but hurry, children. Good morning, Miss Mason. It's cold like that. Well, thanks, but keep yourself wrapped up there. Mama, I can't find my blue hair ribbon anywhere. Just open your eyes, dear. I laid it out special for you. It's on the dresser. If it were a snake, it'd bite you. Yes, yes.
Morning, Mother.
How did it go, Charles?
Oh, fine. I told him a few things. Everything all right here?
Yeah, nothing special happened. It's been bright cold. Howie Newsom says it's 10 below by his lawn.
Oh, well, it's colder than that at Hamilton College. Children's ears are falling off. It ain't Christian. Papers have anything wrong in it?
None that I noticed. Coffee's ready if you want it. Charles, don't forget it's Emily's birthday. Did you remember to get her something?
Yes, I've got something right here. Where's my girl? Where's my
Charles,
birthday?
don't interrupt her now. She's slow enough as it is. Hurry up, children. It's 7 o'clock now. I don't want to call you again. It's so young and beautiful. How did they ever have to get away? I love you all. Everything. I can't look at it. What? Good morning, Mama. Oh, good morning, my birthday girl. Many happy returns. There are some surprises for you on the kitchen table there. Now, that and the blue paper is from your Aunt Carol, and I reckon you can guess who bought that postcard off the bag. George Gibson must have came over pretty early in the morning. George, I forgot. Now, chew that bacon good and slow. It'll keep you warm on a cold day. Oh, Mama, look at the so you really saw me. Mama, 14 years have gone by. I'm dead. Your grandmother. I married George Gibbs. Mama, Wally's dead. His appendix burst on his trip north of Conway. You felt just terrible about it. Don't you remember, Mom? Just for a moment. We're together. Just for a moment. Let's look at one another. Oh, and that in the yellow paper is something I found amongst your grandma's things in the
to make a big fuss. Oh, and your daddy has some surprises for you too. Not quite sure what they are, most so. Shh, he's coming.
Where's my girl? Where's my birthday girl?
I can't. I can't. Everything goes so fast. We don't have time to look at one another. Just take me back up the hill to my grave. But wait, one more look. Goodbye. Goodbye, Grover's Farm. Goodbye, Mama, Papa. Goodbye, food and coffee. Sleeping and waking up. New iron dresses. Oh, Earth. You're too wonderful for anyone to realize you. I'm ready to go back. Were you happy, dear? Oh, Mother Gibbs, I should have listened. That's all people are, just blind people.
Yes, now you know, now you know. That's what it was to be alive. To move in a cloud of ignorance, to go up and down, trampling on the feelings of those about you, to be at the mercy of one self-centered passion or another. Now you know. That's the happy existence you wanted to go back to. Blindness and ignorance.
Simon Strips, and that ain't the whole truth, and you know it. And then look, it's cleared up. Stars are coming out.
My boy Joel was a sailor, knew them all. He used to sit in the porch evenings and tell them all by name, and the stars might even comfort.
Yes, yes, yes.
One of them is Fish.
Mother Gibbs, it's George. Yes, dear. Please trust yourself. It's George.
And my boy Joel, who knew the stars, he used to say it took millions of years for a speck of light to get to the earth. It don't seem like the body could believe it, but that's what he used to say. Millions of years.
Goodness, that ain't really behaved. You ought to be home by now. Mother Gibbs. Yes, Emily? Blind people don't understand, do they? No, dear. They don't understand.
Most everybody's asleep in Grover's Corners. There are a few lights on. Shorty Hawkins down at the depot has just watched the Albany train go by. And down at the livery stable, someone's setting up late and talking. Yes, it's clearing up. There are the stars doing their old crisscross journeys in the sky. Scholars hadn't settled the matter yet, but they seem to think that there are no living beings up there. Just chalk and fire. Only this one's straining away all the time to make something of itself. The strain's so bad that every 16 hours or so, everybody lies down and gets a rest. 11 o'clock in Grover's Corners. You get a good rest too. Good night. There you are, David.
I'm back.
Despite the misleading and perhaps risque title, the pajama game actually focuses on the plight of workers in the sleep-tight pajama factory. The main protagonist, Babe, is head of the grievance committee of workers that are asking for a raise. To complicate matters, Babe has become smitten with the new factory superintendent, Sid, who sits at the other side of the negotiating table.
Who would have thought that working in a pajama factory would keep one up at night? Am I right?
Really?
I couldn't help myself.
I couldn't tell the celebrity criminal joke, but could tell...
Okay, my jokes are actually funny.
That's debatable. The mixed ensemble will perform Steam Heat.
Need your love.
The title of our final selection tonight has a double meaning.
Yes, it means rent, as a payment for a place to live, which is certainly a difficulty for our band of group. What? For our group of artists struggling to survive in New York City's artistic and bohemian East Village.
It also means torn apart, as the show's action takes place against the backdrop of the then largely misunderstood HIV/AIDS epidemic.
First performed as a musical workshop and billed as rock musical in 1993, America was coming to grips with the epidemic.
The musical would go on to garner numerous awards and close after a 12-year run of 5,123 performances. It remains the 11th longest running show in Broadway's history.
We close tonight with Seasons of Love, performed by the entire cast. The song asks the question, how does one measure the year in human life? We thank you for joining us tonight.
It is our hope that you have enjoyed just a small sample of the amazing works that appeared in American theater in the 20th century.
Soaring times that he cried, in bridges he burned, all the way that she died.